Very good evening, and thanks for clicking on to Vogan's Tropical and European Outlook for Thursday, the 29th of September. Hurricane Ian made landfall in and around the Fort Myers area of West Coast Florida with 150 miles per hour sustained winds, estimated higher gusts, and basically Fort Myers Beach tweets coming in of essentially a white out Fort Myers Beach. So very, very sad scenes, but unfortunately it was expected given the strength of this system, the fact that it rapidly intensified on approach to the west coast, and storm surge, of course, wiping out many buildings and any structure in the way of this system here. And this is a rather interesting tweet here by the Met Office indicating that it was the strongest hurricane to make landfall in Florida since 2018 when Michael came ashore. The first Category 5 hurricane, of course, since 1992. And, it ranks right up there with Charlie and the unnamed hurricane of 1919. But yep, the current status indicates that we do have Hurricane Ian now exited Florida. It crossed over the Florida Peninsula over an 18-hour period. As expected, it weakened to a tropical storm. It is now exiting the Florida coast. It is now officially offshore of Cape Canaveral on the east coast, and it will be interacting with warm water and a nearby Gulf Stream that may allow the system to regain hurricane status as it moves towards the north. Now, the reason why it has taken the track it has done so far is because we've had a rather deep trough kind of pinballing through the Great Lakes, the Midwest, the northeastern half of the United States. Down comes very cold air for the time of the year. And actually, Hurricane Ian is and has been interacting now with a cold front that is basically sitting over the central portion of Florida. Unusually cold air for the time of the year has sunk south over and into the southeastern portion of the United States. There is also a lot of cold, dry air getting pulled in to the backside of Ian. But it looks as if with 27-degree waters in that kind of little section here, just to the east of Florida, to the south of South Carolina, it could re-intensify. Now, current sustained winds are at approximately 70 miles per hour, and it may go back to 75 miles per hour sustained, and that would bring it back to hurricane status once again. But what we're going to see is that trough and upper level wind shear is now exiting the northeastern half of the country. We're starting to see high pressure to the east of the system building, and that will essentially, instead of Ian continuing on that east to northeasterly track, it's going to actually start turning back towards the coastline again. So hence why it's expected to make a landfall somewhere close to Charleston, South Carolina, by the time we reach the early to midday on Friday. So we've got a hurricane warning in effect along the entire South Carolina coastline, as you can see here, according to the National Hurricane Center. But it is going to still continue to pack a punch. Now, we've had upwards of a foot of rain fall anywhere from Fort Myers up to Daytona Beach. We've also, of course, seen damage in wind gusts. We're now seeing, as the system is now offshore, onshore winds coming around the circulation back onshore, Daytona Beach, north towards Jacksonville. We're seeing wind gusts between 50 and 70 miles per hour. So, we're going to continue to see that pattern taking place. But it's all eyes on the next 24 hours, 12 hours really, to see if the system can regain hurricane status. Now, it has kind of pushed across Florida quicker than anticipated. That's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. The reason why is it's a good thing because it means that there's potentially less rain, possibly less damage caused, as the system moves quicker across the peninsula. However, it also means that the internal structure of the system may quickly move across land and then move back out over warm waters once again. So the structure may remain a little bit less intact and therefore may regain strength as it moves back over warm waters again. So it's a kind of twofold thing. It's good and bad. The quicker passage over the Florida Peninsula. And of course, it's all eyes on South Carolina, and the damage that's now been caused will be getting assessed, of course, over the next day or so. Now, looking at the UK weather pattern, we've had one of the coldest nights for the month of September in many years in parts of the southeast of England, where we've seen temperatures down as low as 1.1 Celsius at Charlwood on the outskirts on the south side of London. Very chilly night for the time of the year. All the way down to 2.9 at Tibenham, Airfield 3 at Marham, as you can see here. So a very chilly night indeed. And it's going to be another cooler night across the south of England in particular, ahead of a system that is going to be bringing the first widespread gales and heavy rain across the British Isles, the entire British Isles, that is, of course. And that has been spoken about for the last several days here. So the current setup looks like this here, that you can see the feature that was moving all the way down the eastern side of the UK over the last couple of days. That is now filled across the continent here. We've still got a little bit of northeasterly flow, as you can see here. But over the course of the next 12 hours, we're going to see the skies clear out. England and Wales, most of England and Wales anyway, clear skies, lighter winds. Therefore, fog patches is going to be likely to develop during the overnight tonight. We may see a couple of spots down in the low single figures with a touch of grass frost, for example. But it's then, as we push in to the morning tomorrow, at dawn tomorrow, 7, 8 o'clock, we're going to see that band of rain moving in. Now, that's a deep area of low pressure. 965 millibar low is nothing to sniff at for this time of the year. That is going to see a real squeeze in the isobars. 60, 70 mile per hour winds along the coastline is expected, anywhere from Cornwall all the way up to Caithness in the north coast of Scotland here. That system then moves through over the span of a few hours into the near continent. We're left with a legacy of blustery showers coming in off the Atlantic, low pressure deep at that to the north, high pressure off the Iberian coast, and of course you've got that straight wind coming in off the Atlantic here. Then interestingly enough, this is off the ECMWF, by the way, a model I showed you in last night's video as well. Notice, along with the GFS, it indicates a feature coming across the southern half of the UK. So another spell of fairly heavy persistent rain for a period of time during the early portion of Sunday. I'm going back to France again, expecting to cross over the English Channel on Sunday morning. And I wouldn't be surprised. A little bit of wind, heavy rain, miserable conditions. That's what I would expect given what this model is indicating here. That feature quickly clears off to the east. High pressure back in control, probably a fairly chilly morning on Monday, especially across England and Wales where winds are lightest, skies are clear, perhaps a little bit of breeze further north up across Scotland here. And then in comes the next system here, and it will clip across parts of Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, possibly the northwest of England, as you can see here. So it's a fairly active weather pattern, fairly strong area of high pressure over the continent, keeping things driest across the southeast of the UK, wettest and windiest across the northwest. Plenty of weather to speak about, so I expect you to keep a close eye on that along with myself. Please like, please share, and if you haven't already done so, keep it right here by subscribing to my YouTube channel, and I'll keep you up to date as best I can. That's it for today. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. See you again tomorrow. Bye for now.